AITA for letting my pregnant coworker get in trouble? Throwaway account, I'll try to keep it all as brief as possible. English isn't my first language, so I apologize if there's any mistakes. I, F24, work an office job. I have a co-worker, Anne, F28. Anne is currently pregnant and is around 6 months pregnant. We have a dedicated break room where we go for lunch, as we aren't allowed to eat anything or drink anything except water bottles in the office because of the computers. We all have our own break schedules that are the same every day. Anne and I go to break together. Our lunch break is from 13:30 to 14:30. No one else is on this schedule and take their breaks earlier or later. In the break room, there's a few chairs and a couple of couches. Over the past 2 weeks, Anne had started taking naps on one of the couches during her lunch break. I know it's not my business as to what she does on her break, she can do what she wants. Last Friday, Anne and I were taking our breaks as usual. I was listening to music on my headphones, and when it was around 14:30, I got up to go back to work. I didn't really pay attention to what Anne was doing. Everyone was confused. Anne was saying, "Where's Anne?" By around 1500 hours because they needed her, and our boss went into the break room and Anne was still sleeping. Anne got a warning from our boss. Anne is now angry with me because our breaks end at the same time, so I should have woken her up. She said I'm selfish and careless. A lot of our other coworkers are on Anne's side and agree. I told Anne if she can't wake up, she shouldn't sleep during her break. She said the baby makes her tired and accused me of calling her lazy and being insensitive. Edit to add on, when my break was ending I was scrolling on my phone and listening to music. I have ADHD. When I do these things I'm quite oblivious to my surroundings. I didn't not wake Anne up because of malice. If Anne had asked me to wake her up, I would have done so. Edit, at our workplace we can't just leave our workstations. If I left to go look for Anne, after getting back to work I would have gotten in trouble. Our boss was already looking for Anne because some of our coworkers needed her for something. Technically NTA I guess, because you're not obligated to wake her up, but dude it would have been so easy and cost you literally nothing to do it. I think you've completely underestimated the value that comes from keeping good relationships with your coworkers. Work life is a whole lot easier when you have coworkers willing to cover for you if you're 10 minutes late or help you out when you're snowed under. You didn't have Anne's back, which is your choice to make, but in doing so you have virtually guaranteed that neither she or any of the others who see her side will do anything to help you. NTA. Just because she's pregnant the world has to watch out for her. She could have asked you if you would be so nice and wake her up before this happened. Or she should just set an alarm on her phone. She's an adult, she has no right to be mad with you. And if others agree with her, they can wake her up in the future. Selfish and careless? Geez. This entitlement. She got pregnant without you, she gets up in the morning without you, so she'll figure this out without you. NTA. Wow, some serious entitlement here. Frankly, whether you knew if she was sleeping or not doesn't matter. It's her responsibility to make sure she's at her workstation when she's supposed to be. Why couldn't she set an alarm? Don't let others in the office bully you just because she's pregnant. Being pregnant doesn't excuse someone from being a jerk, nor does it make others responsible for their actions. AITA for refusing to take my daughter to my ex-husband's wedding. My 42F ex-husband, 45M, and I were together for 20 years. We had a beautiful daughter together, Jocelyn, 14F. We got a divorce 5 years ago due to infidelity on his part. I was devastated. He was the love of my life and he betrayed all of the trust and loyalty we had built up. To make matters worse, he ended up in a relationship with the woman he cheated on me with. They got engaged 1 year later and are set to be married in 2 weeks. Honestly, I still am heartbroken over my divorce. It's hurtful to me that we were together for 20 years and he could just go fall in love with someone else as if I was nothing. However, Jocelyn was only 9 when we divorced, and he's a great father, so I would never want to come in between their bond. Jocelyn loves his fiancée as she's very sweet to her, but she doesn't know the reason why her dad and I divorced. I want to tell her when she's a bit older, and he doesn't want to tell her at all. Anyways, I compromised with him that Jocelyn could come to the wedding, but that he would have to provide the transportation to and from the wedding, as I want no part of it. I don't want to drop my daughter off at his wedding. I don't want to see all the decorations and the happy guests. It'd just be too much for me. I didn't tell him all of that obviously, but he agreed. Today he calls me and asks if he can ask for a huge favor. It turns out that his future in-laws are flying in the morning of the wedding, and he has to go pick them up. Therefore he can't pick up my daughter the day of and wanted to ask if I could take her. I said absolutely not and asked why he can't pick her up the day before when she gets off of school. He said he doesn't want to make the drive twice and that he will likely not have time as he has to prepare for the rehearsal dinner. I asked why can't the bride pick up her parents. He said she'll be getting her hair done and won't be able to. I laughed and told him there was no way I'd take my daughter and that he'd have to figure it out. Boy, why did I say that? My daughter ran downstairs crying, face beet red 10 minutes after my conversation with her dad, calling me terrible and accusing me of not wanting her to spend time with her dad. I told her that's not the case and she demanded to know why I couldn't take her. I couldn't give her an answer and she ran upstairs crying. Now I'm getting messages from his family calling me heartless and cold and a bitch for trying to ruin his special day over a relationship that is long over. My family understands my point of view. But I feel terrible that I've upset my daughter. I don't know what to do. AITA. Should I just put aside my feelings and take her? NTA. But I also think your daughter is old enough to know the truth about her father, otherwise you will be the bad guy going forward. You're letting X ruin your relationship between you and your daughter. I don't think he does it on purpose, but it is really convenient to him. Moms are allowed to have feelings too. And it's good for a kid to see a mother standing up for herself and handling her feelings with honesty and grace. Don't force her to believe that her mother puts her selfish ass before her daughter. That doesn't only hurt, but also affects a kid's adult life and creates trust issues. Tell her that you love her and will never get between her and her dad. Tell her that even though you're still hurt and this would be too much for you to take. Explain that people can be more than just plain bad or good. Your ex was a bad husband, but a great father. Reassure her that her feelings are valid, but that she'll never have to pick sides. And then, apologize to her for letting her in dark for so long. This matter affected her life too. She deserves the truth. NTA, but talk to her. NTA, the people he needs to pick up can get a taxi. His first responsibility should be to his daughter if he actually wants her there. And I think it might be time to tell your daughter a bit more about what happened. She's a teenager now and needs to be learning lessons about loyalty and managing relationships responsibly. Her getting the impression that this situation is all right and that you're wrong for not being happy that the ex-husband who cheated on you is getting remarried is not a good place for her to start when it comes to learning how to expect good treatment from future partners. If he thinks picking up his future in-laws is more important than picking up his own daughter, then he's very, very wrong. The adult in-laws can manage a variety of transportation options a young teenager can't. He's showing his priorities, and it isn't his daughter, and you need to be prepared to help protect her and guide her as he continues into the future wanting to play happy family and have his daughter go along with it while he puts her in second place to his new family. NTA, but 14 is old enough to understand cheating. I would tell darling daughter that while I love her and I love that she has a good relationship with her dad and her future stepmom, I can't handle seeing their wedding when they started dating while dad and I were still married. Then I would ask her if she has any ideas as to how she can be at the wedding without me having to see it. Sometimes teenagers are incredible out-of-the-box thinkers. NTA. Time to tell your daughter why you divorced. Dad has options to get her there. He's not exercising them. On the plus side, His new bride's grand prize is a cheating spouse.